I've already spoken a little bit about what some of the benefits of shamanic practice are. Shamanism, shamanic practices include journeying to other levels of reality to interact with spirits in the spiritual realms in order to enact change on the physical plane. And those changes can be anything from slaying demons to stop nightmares and also stop whatever else those demons could potentially be about to cause or be causing. It could be as simple as divination. And I will also say that, like, most of the shamanic journeys, most of my shamanic practice in my life thus far has been more of the divinatory variety. I've told you that I use it for divination. What do I mean by that? You can go to the cards or the runes or whatever and get a very symbolic, metaphorical, vague answer to your questions that requires a lot of interpretation. Or you can go on a shamanic journey and speak to your gods or your guides or whatever face to face and ask them questions and get answers. And sometimes their answers will still be just as puzzling and symbolic and metaphorical and difficult to decode as if you had just done a card reading. But sometimes they will give you very straight answers, and they will me anyway. This has been extremely beneficial. Like, for example, I asked after the whole demon slaying experience, I asked John Quay, like, what were the names of those demons that we slayed? And he straight up told me all 5 of their names. And that was the most valuable thing that happened that whole journey. Well, I don't know, probably slaying them was more valuable, but, like, knowing their names allows me to recognize, like, what temptations do I fall prey to, what plagues me, and how can I watch out for that and be more aware of that. So having that sort of information in very clear, straightforward terms is extremely helpful. And sometimes I just get tired of trying to interpret symbolic stuff, and it's like, look, just fucking tell me what you want, Can you just tell me what this is? Like, what is this? Like, I've been thinking about it for a long time, but, like, what is this? How do I deal with it? Tell me what to do. And a lot of times they'll tell you what to do. Now, like with any kind of divination, I think your guides, or the cards, I consider the cards guides of a sort, or maybe they're inhabited by a guide of a sort, I don't know. But any spiritual helping a spirit, is the shamanic term, I think, will get tired of giving you advice you don't follow. So, be wary of that. Like, if you ask for their advice on what to do, like, be prepared to do it, or be prepared to stop getting their advice. I think it's pretty simple. So divination of various kinds, like I was saying, face-to-face conversations with spirit or with your gods or with God. I think you can, even as a monotheist, I think you can do this sort of thing and benefit from conversations with God, and from conversations with your ancestors, or if you're Catholic, maybe conversations with the saints. Like, one of the ways that I will tend to converse with Odin specifically is through ostromancy, which is divination by the wind. And so, I'll ask questions, and it will seem the wind will answer, but you can get, like, yes or no questions answered that way, and you can get some other questions answered that way, but generally it's hard to get specific information just from a breeze. And sometimes it's just easier to talk face to face. Sometimes you get tired of texting back and forth, and you just gotta call. So I think that's kind of what, with spirit conversation, with, like, conversations with God, I think that's one of the things that shamanic journeying is really, really good for, is having those face-to-face conversations. And then maybe the primary thing that shamanism has been used for, shamanic practice has been used for historically, is dealing with misguided or misplaced placed spiritual entities. So that can involve acting as a psychopomp and leading the dead home, or leading, perhaps it's not the dead, but spirits that don't belong in this world, leading them home, helping them find their way, getting them back to where they belong. Or doing similar work with perhaps not like sentient spirits, but with spiritual afflictions, which can manifest as illnesses or disease. And this is something that I think for a long time I was very skeptical of, and I'm coming around to possibly, I'm having a little bit of an identity crisis actually right now, trying to decide if I can sacrifice enough of my skepticism to believe that shamanic practice could actually make a difference in something like physical health. But when I think about it, it doesn't seem so far off. It's just counter to the scientific atheism that I've been exposed to my entire life growing up in America. Okay, so yeah, divination, face-to-face conversations with spirit, demon slaying, dealing with misguided spirits, possibly healing. I say possibly healing. Like, healing is like a known aspect of shamanic work. It's just, it hasn't always been an aspect of my personal shamanic practice, but that's about me. That's not about shamanism. So healing is definitely a shamanism thing. And that might be something that I may possibly be learning how to do. I said I wouldn't talk about this. I'm not talking about this. Okay.
You can hear the rest of the episode and learn more on my podcast, Welcome to Magic School. Welcome to Magic School, where you'll learn how to level up every aspect of your life and make your everyday magical, one step at a time, with magic that works.